Good morning, everyone. My name is Clay Young. I'm the owner of Clay Young Enterprises and the chairman of the Law Enforcement and Criminal Justice Foundation. First thing we know this morning is that the microphones work very, very well. We are assembled here today at the Vaudry Center on the campus of Southern University to announce the formation of a coalition of government, private business, law enforcement, nonprofit leaders, clergy, and other stakeholders. Over 160 in total. This coalition is known as Safe BR. It is a collaborative focused on helping our community address violent crime. For far too long, many have been content to sit on the sidelines and just talk about the impact of crime on our city. Today, we announce this coalition as an instrument of support for the efforts of our law enforcement agencies and city leadership. Safe BR has 3 pillars. Number 1, new resources for law enforcement to enhance existing and new strategies proven effective in stopping violent crime, as well as individual assistance for first responders injured in the line of duty. The second pillar is community investment in evidence-based strategies to disrupt the cycle of crime and violence. Each of us understand the importance of enforcement, but we must equally understand the investment in human capital. Far too many young people, particularly males, more specifically African American males, have no conduit to hope. They don't know that they can do different. But we as a group can catalyze their opportunity to capitalize on each of their God-given abilities. The third pillar is accountability and transparency for the entire system of justice and our collective investment. This is us, a coalition of people who believe in Baton Rouge and are stepping up to support efforts to make our community a safer one. Countless nonprofits, community leaders, churches, and even our Mayor President's office through Safe, Hopeful, Healthy have been on the front lines in this work. Now our group steps up to say, we want to help. This group is diverse, equipped, and passionate about our city. It is where we live, raise families, worship, and operate businesses and organizations. So far, over 100 organizations and individuals have formally committed to Safe BR, and that list is growing every day. A list of those partners can now be found online at safebr.org. Safebr.org. Last year saw a reduction in murders in our parish. However, if you look closely, you will notice that no one is doing a victory dance. It was a great start, but the race to the bottom of the list of homicides is just beginning. The elected leadership of our parish and law enforcement agencies are working to get this job done. That is indeed a fact. Today, we join the effort in support of what has been done and as a catalyzing addition to what we all believe our city can be. Over the next several weeks, you'll be hearing about initiatives targeted at accomplishing the goals laid out here today. Both investment in our community, particularly those that are in most need of support, and supporting law enforcement are both essential to us having the city and parish we all deserve. Now, our next speakers are members of our coalition and are leaders in business. I'd like to invite to the podium Helena Cunningham and Russell Mosley.
Good morning. You can join me, Russell. It's great to see you all here. We're here to provide a welcome and to just thank you all for being here today. I'm Helena Cunningham. I am a businesswoman in Baton Rouge, and I absolutely enjoy Baton Rouge and love Baton Rouge. I've been very involved with the Safe Baton Rouge initiative, and primarily because of all the assets that we have in Baton Rouge. If you just look around, I mean, even on this campus where we are today, not just a brilliant place for higher education, it's just a beautiful place, absolutely stunning. And of course, we have our beautiful campus across the interstate, LSU. We have one of the best parks and recreation systems in the country. We have a dynamic chamber that's routinely voted one of the best in the state. We have a foundation in our state that's top-notch with philanthropy, always given in our communities. We have business leaders who are always interested in bettering our community. We have an education system that's always trying to figure out better and the best and the highest ways to educate our children. Just in this room today is filled with people who are interested in Baton Rouge, people who love Baton Rouge, otherwise you wouldn't be here. So thank you for being here today. I think, and of course, government. We have a mayor that's interested in being collaborative and working with all of us to make our city and our parish better. We know that government can't do it alone. We have to help. And what's the beauty about this initiative is that everybody is working together. We have been able to pull all of you in on this initiative. So we are excited about what we're doing today. We're excited about working with public safety. We're excited about working with the mayor's office. We're excited about working with the business sector. We're excited about working with the nonprofit community, with the business community to make Baton Rouge safer. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Russell Mosley. And let me tell you about Russell. We wouldn't be here today, I believe, but for Russell. There was a very disturbing incident that happened in Baton Rouge. And Russell was he just had enough. And he pulled together a group of Baton Rouge business leaders and just decided enough was enough. And as a result of his roundtable meeting, Baton Rouge Safe started. So with that, I'm going to ask Russell to provide a few comments, but I also would like you guys to give Russell a hand of applause because Russell started this initiative.
Well, is she good or what? You can see why she's a leader and why she's here, and I appreciate those kind words, Helena. And with leaders like Helena and leaders like the rest of you, we can make a difference here. So, and thank you, Clay, for all the work you're doing. I know we'll hear more about one part of the initiative that you've been working on for years, and your leadership's been so important. And while we're at it, I want to thank Neil Patel, because Neil was the one who really took the ball and ran with this after our initial meeting. He's done the hard work to get us here, and Neil, you know, he does this every day. I know he's talked to each and every one of you, and without you, this group is not where it is today. So thank you, Neil. So I have a little talk. I'm just going to give a little talk. So we've come here today to talk about something important, fighting crime in our community. I've lived in Baton Rouge, like many of you, my entire life. After high school, I attended LSU. I attended LSU Law School, and then I built my business here. Like all of you, Baton Rouge is my home, but lately this hasn't felt like the hometown we all know and love. Many of us live in fear that a violent crime will be committed against us, against a family member, or against a friend. Recently, I was devastated when I found out that my 17-year-old did not want to go to college in Baton Rouge, and he doesn't want to live here afterward because of crime. Now, it's not too late for him. I think what we're doing today can change his mind. That's why this is so important. So we're here today because it's time for a change. It's not too late. The Safe BR Coalition you'll hear about will bring law enforcement, business, government, nonprofit organizations together to fight crime. We're going to pool public and private dollars together, and we're going to take action. Although much work has already been done to fight crime, and I thank everybody here from law enforcement for doing that, including you, Mayor. Thank you for your work so far. Thank you, Congressman Graves and others who have already started that work. We still have much more work to do. And it's going to take a collaboration from the business community, the nonprofits, and government to make this happen. So I think we're off to a great start. But like I said, we're going to need the entire community to come together to make this successful. So please support Safe BR, and let's make Baton Rouge a safe place to live. Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the President of East Baton Rouge Parish and the Mayor of the City of Baton Rouge, the Honorable Sharon Weston Broome.
Good morning, everyone. It is certainly great to be here with our local business people and our philanthropic leaders of this great city and parish. And I just want to start off by saying thank you to the Safe BR stakeholders that are here today. I'm extremely grateful and always grateful for the level of dedication to collaboration and solution building. 2 words, collaboration, solutions, that come from our entire community. And so today we have partners from both the private and nonprofit sectors who are joining our local, state, and federal agencies to elevate the need to build, as we have been saying for quite some time, a safe, hopeful, and healthy community. You heard it said before, and I echo those sentiments, that government can't do it alone. And this is especially true when it comes to public safety. You know, last month I was honored to attend a meeting organized by Kathy Tolliver and Paul Rice and many members of our faith community. I particularly remember the words and the passion that came from Kathy Tolliver, who you will hear from today as it relates to her desire to be a part of the solution and her clarion call for others to be a part of the solution. I also remember the words of Paul Rice. Unfortunately, I think he can't be here today, but Kathy is here. He said that crime and public safety is something that affects all of us. So we should all get involved in the work. In order to be effective, we have to integrate what we have been doing over the last 6 years with more solutions that reduce any violence in our city. You will hear us talk a lot about 3 approaches. You've heard it already this morning. Law enforcement to the full extent. That is complemented with community-led interventions and mental health and social services. And so this partnership with Safe BR will provide more resources and advocacy for our law enforcement agencies that are all working together through the East Baton Rouge Parish Gun Violence Reduction Collaborative, which includes Sheriff Sid Gotro, District Attorney Hiller Moore, BRPD Chief Murphy Paul, the State Police, U.S. Attorney's Office, along with the FBI, ATF, DEA, and the U.S. Marshal's Office. While we were fortunate as an administration to recently give our Baton Rouge police officers a 13% pay raise and recruitment and retention bonuses up to $15,000. This partnership with SafeBR will continue to support more resources for our men and women on the front line. SafeBR has also committed to supporting our community-led strategies throughout the parish. Public and private partnerships, as you well know as business people, are the key to continuously growing public safety in all sectors. So, here's my commitment as your mayor president. We're not going to give up, and we're not going to stop doing this work. I've never been in hiding about my faith. And let me just say this. I believe 2 Timothy 1:7. God hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and a sound mind. And as we implement SafeBR, I believe that those also need to be the pillars that we focus on. The power of collectivity, of collaboration, the love that should exist throughout our community, and operating with the God-given intelligence and sound mind that we have to address this issue. So I'm proud to be a part of the SafeBR partnership as the mayor, and to continue to work and bring even more partners into the field. The investments here from local business and philanthropic leaders will be monumental in growing policy and helping to sustain these strategies in the long term. Thank you all for being in here today and in this space. You have the support of the mayor's office, and may God bless you, and may God bless the great city of Baton Rouge.
Thank you, Mayor. We've talked about the investment of law enforcement. I'd like to invite up to the podium Sheriff Sid Gotro, District Attorney Hiller Moore, and Deputy Chief Myron Daniels, and also come up on the stage with him, our Constable Terica Williams. The three of them are going to speak, but because she's in the room and she's law enforcement, we're going to invite her up too.
Good morning. On behalf of the Baton Rouge Police Department, I would like to state how excited we are to see this endeavor come together. The Baton Rouge community has proven itself to be one of great resiliency. It has proven to be a city that cares. Over the years, we've witnessed entities of our community work toward accomplishing common goals, but often those efforts were conducted in silos. It has always been said that there is strength in numbers. But when a community unites with a common goal and energy, success is inevitable, and they become an unstoppable force. Again, that's why we're so excited, because this coalition is an awesome opportunity to bring government, law enforcement, the business community, the faith-based community, and the other nonprofits together. And together we can show a collective effort against crime. As law enforcement, we often address symptoms of crime through prevention, intervention, and of course, enforcement efforts. We've made significant strides over the course of the last 18 months or so. Baton Rouge police were able to reduce homicides in the city by approximately 20%. We saw a 15% decrease in non-fatal shootings, as well as an almost 38% reduction in domestic violence-related homicides. These successes were a result of public safety partnerships and the initiative that we have come to know as Operation Red Stick. One thing that we know for sure is that crime has changed over the years, and therefore the approach to crime must change as well. The collaborative approach now gives us opportunity to address root causes of issues plaguing our community. We're thankful to have business and nonprofit community that are wanting to be involved and help reduce crime. As I close, I just want all to think about how much we can and will accomplish working together to reduce crime in the city of Baton Rouge and the parish of East Baton Rouge. Plainly stated, the results will be a safer environment for everyone. And with that, I thank you on behalf of the Baton Rouge Police Department for being a part of this. Thank you.
Good morning. First of all, I'd like to thank the Baton Rouge Area Foundation and the Chamber of Commerce, our businesses, our nonprofits, government and law enforcement partners that are bringing the community together for Safe BR Coalition. I've always echoed the sentiments of the late Councilwoman Ronnie Edwards, and I quote, "Any efforts on the part of law enforcement will be short-lived without the help and assistance of the community," end quote. And that's prolific. That's prolific. She said it best. We can't do it standing alone. We have to do it standing together. It truly takes a village committed to public safety to make a real difference. As crime changes and evolves, we have to do the same with our approach to safety. I've always believed in a multi-pronged approach to law enforcement that includes stringent enforcement, community outreach and education, and prevention and rehabilitation. And I've always used this scale, and many of you have heard me say this before. That scale has to be balanced. We can't do all outreach and no enforcement and expect to have the results that we all want. Same thing, we can't do all enforcement and no outreach. It's going to be the same end. We've got to work together. The coalition brings us together collectively to find ways to promote community safety by addressing each of these areas. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not time to point fingers. It's time to work together collectively to make this parish and the people in it what we want it to be. Crime affects every man, woman, and child that lives in East Baton Rouge Parish. And I don't care if you're in a gated community or you're in the poorest section of town. All those people want everywhere is to live in peace and raise a family. We can't sit here and look for any one entity, as it's been said before me. We can't look at any one entity and expect these things to change. In my opinion, where we are today didn't happen overnight. It's been evolving over decades. And it's not going to change every night, every day, overnight. But I will say this, every day when I go to bed at night and every morning when I get up, there's two scriptures that I adhere to. One is, with God, all things are possible. And if he be with us, then who shall be against us? And I firmly believe that with God's help, we'll change this. But you can't look just to law enforcement. You can't just look to elected officials. You can't just look to the school. You can't just look to any other entity here that has any stakehold in this problem that we're trying to address. It's every one of us. I've been blessed to serve as sheriff for the past 13 years, and together we have accomplished many things, but there's still much to be done in the years ahead. We can't wait for tomorrow. We've got to do it today. And I applaud each and every one of you that are in here today that have made a commitment to yourselves and to this community to effect positive change. I look forward to working with the coalition and all of our community partners to find innovative, long-term solutions for crime so that we can be safer and stronger together. I'm committed. The men and women in East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office are committed. I'm probably one of the most blessed people in this room. I could not ask to lead and work with a better group of men and women than what we have in the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office. We got people that care. And there's only one reason to be in this profession. Only one: to serve. And that's to serve each and every one every day. And those of us that have a true servant heart and a true servant mentality, we get it. We get it. And I think all of y'all get it. It's time to quit pointing fingers. It's time to quit talking about it. We've talked enough about it. We need to do it. Thank you again for everyone that demonstrated a strong commitment to public safety, and I look forward to continue working with you all.
Good evening, good morning. You thought about what we're going to talk about here today, but sitting here next to the sheriff and hearing this and just looking at the people here, something kind of hit me and moved me is that, do you all realize, or I didn't realize that what this is really going to do, what it's done for me sitting here, just for the people in my office and the people that are Baton Rouge policemen and sheriffs and people that work in this community, our judges. This is you all. This is the community telling them that we respect your job. You do a very difficult job. We have a long road to go, but this really has been amazing. It's just kind of, I knew how good this was going to be, but now just a personal feeling that these folks that do this hard work now know that you have their back. And sometimes we just don't always get those feelings because it's a tough job, but this has really moved me to say, we have to even work harder. That look who we have behind us. I mean, look around yourself. Look at the group of people that we have here with the chamber, the foundation, Senator Cassidy's call yesterday, Representative Graves, the mayor, the chief, the sheriff, the constable, you name it. But just the collective will of the people that are here, this is amazing. We did have a better year last year, as the mayor and chief representative indicated. We could have a better year this year, I believe. We're going in the right direction. There's another bigger city down the road that is going in the wrong direction. No sense to them, but that's what's happening right now. And I do believe that it's because of the coalition that we have here. I want to tell you also, as others will tell you, and this is a fact, it's true. If you travel around the United States, as we do, as the DA, sheriff, mayor, you will never find another city that has the collaboration that we have, that these people, well, we may disagree on certain things, that we always come together when it's because of public safety and for the people. So this is something that Baton Rouge has that's over everyone else. And despite the problems that we have, I believe that we're going to be able to overcome them just because of that cohesiveness and because of you people that are here today. So whether you know it or not, you guys have just really done a lot with a morale booster for the men and women who do the hard work day in and day out, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to stand on the stage with the sheriff, the district attorney, and representatives from Baton Rouge City Police. But as I look around the room and I see so many people, council members and business owners, pastors, I see the superintendent for school board in the room, and this is what it's going to take to fix our problem here in Baton Rouge. It's not going to take law enforcement alone. It's going to take everyone who's in this room. And I'm here. I'm ready. I'm ready to stand for the cause and help whoever. My doors are always open at my office. So if anybody wants to come in and say, let's be a part of making a difference, making a change. I even see the president from Southern University in the room. Thank you for being here. So this is what it's going to take to fix this problem, not just law enforcement. It takes the business owner. I see judges in the room. Everyone in this room is a part of fixing the problem. Our community activists us are in the room. So let's do this together. Let's make this work together, not just the mayor's office, not just the police department. All of us in this room, we can do it, and I'm ready, I'm willing. Clay, thank you for the opportunity, and I know, you always say, Constable, you need to be there, so I appreciate that, and we're going to continue to work forward, making Baton Rouge a better place and a safer place. Thank y'all.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our federal partners are so essential to this work, and I'd like to invite to the podium representing Congressman Troy Carter's office, Clarissa Moore, and U.S. Representative Garrett Graves.
Good morning. I apologize for the Congressman's absence, but he did send a statement for me to read on behalf of Congressman Troy Carter. While we have made some progress, homicides, domestic violence, and gun violence remains far too high in our community and across the nation. That's where Safe BR comes in. Leaders in the civic, business, and public sectors have joined together to create this coalition and give us their promise to provide resources in response to this crime epidemic. Congressman Carter specifically asked me to congratulate Chief Murphy Paul and the Baton Rouge Police on 23% reduction in homicide in Baton Rouge, primarily attributable to funding under the American Rescue Plan. That's why efforts like this are so important to providing funding to continue this trend. We have a long road and hard work ahead, but this coalition is an important step. He thanked you guys for inviting him to this. He apologized again for not being here, but thank you.
He also said that I'm the one who actually did everything and he hadn't done anything to help. Hey, seriously, one, I want to thank Clay Young, I want to thank Russell Mosley, Neil Patel, Helena Cunningham, and all of those that came together to assist our law enforcement community. Look, crime affects absolutely everyone. It affects every person in our community, whether it's a family that's directly impacted, whether it's a neighborhood that's had a spike in crime with people going through cars, going through homes, whether it's carjackings, muggings, and some of the absolutely senseless deaths in our community. It affects every single one of us. And oftentimes the focus is on these folks right here, which are great people, great partners. But the reality is that it's their job to enforce laws whenever something's already happened, when something's gone wrong. What these folks have done, Neil and Clay and Helena and Russell, is they brought together the stakeholders. They brought together the impacted community because, say it again, these folks deal with the problem once it's already occurred. When I was born, I was the fourth of 4 kids. We had a 2-bedroom house, we had 2 beds pushed together. Some people could look at that and say, gosh, that's awful. Let me tell you something. There are people in our community, right here in our community, I've gone to lunch with, spent time with, people that bounce between aunts and uncles, grandparents, people that aren't even relatives, every single day. These are young people, these are teenagers. Folks that have moms that are in jail, dads who are on drugs. Look, you can go back and you look at my childhood and I can feel sorry for myself. Look, my parents were awesome. I had an amazing, blessed childhood, and my parents told me I could do anything that I wanted. Sitting down with some of these people in our community today and talking to them about their future and their horizons, what they're exposed to. All they see is crime, and at some point you go into survival mode. It is our responsibility collectively, yes, our business leaders, because this impacts your personnel, it impacts you being able to hire people, it impacts your insurance, it impacts your losses. Yes, you should be here. Our churches, we all have an obligation to teach people the difference between right and wrong. We do. We need to teach people the difference between right and wrong, help them understand their consequences, what it's like to love, what it's like to be loved, to be part of a community, to understand that there's something bigger and higher than us. Our nonprofits, our schools, Yes, to give the people the tools that they need, to give them more options in their future, to give them the ability to go, as I said a minute ago, to do and become anything that they can dream of. And our schools need the help and need the resources. But let me come back to these people right here. There's a lot of pressure that's been put on them, and put on the courts, the jails, and some of that's deserved. But these folks right here, work with them every single week. They're good people. They've got some amazing, amazing officers, amazing deputies, amazing assistant DAs and others. We've come in and we've tried to help. We've got a state crime lab with a 1-year backlog. 1-year backlog. What do you do with somebody we know or we think is guilty if we can't even process the evidence to get them into court? What do we do? That's unacceptable. We've been able to work with the sheriff and get rapid DNA technology. We've been able to provide some additional funds for investigative support unit, working closely with Hiller Moore and the mayor and the police chief on the Truce Initiative to help crime diversion programs, to help give these kids other options. So it is going to take every single one of us. We're all impacted by it, and we're all going to benefit from having safer communities. Look, there was something that was brushed over, and Deputy Chief mentioned it. I want to highlight it. We've seen a nearly 20% reduction in shootings. Did I get that right? Kind of, ballpark? All right. 20% reduction in 1 year. One of the things we need to be doing is looking at what we've done and how we can build upon those successes to continue that trajectory in a downward direction. But I'm going to say it one more time. It's going to take us all. We're all impacted. We're all victims. And it's going to take every single one of us in this room working together, because they're the safety net. They're the ones at the end of the day when something's gone wrong. We can help prevent people from choosing a life of crime, helping to give them other options, and helping to make their jobs easier. So thank you all, and God bless.
I think the number is 23%. It's higher than 23%? That's the number? Okay, 23%. All right, thank you, Congressman Graves and Ms. Moore. Representing our business and industry community, ladies and gentlemen, the chairman of the board of the Baton Rouge Area Chamber, David Mullins.
Thank you and good morning, everybody. First of all, thank you all for being here. Again, my name's David Mullins. I am the Louisiana Market President for Capital One Bank. I also have the privilege of serving as chairman of the Baton Rouge Area Chamber Board of Directors this year. I wasn't born in Baton Rouge. I have been here since elementary school, which is well over 30 years ago now. And as I reflect back over those 30 years, we have been through a lot of tragedies in this community. And if you think about those different situations, a common theme that seems to be prevalent is we band together. We collaborate, we put differences aside, we work toward affecting positive change. And that's really what I see going on in this room right now. And this should be personal for all of us. A lot of us have businesses here, we have careers, we raise our families here. And as far as BRAC goes, we're actively recruiting people to move here. And I can stand up here and tell you, which is true, how if we don't focus on safety, how difficult it is going to be for us to build a vibrant economy. True statement. What's even worse than that is our fellow community members are dying. And we've got to do something to stop that. Safe BR is about action and solutions, and that's why BRAC's proud to be a big supporter, deep supporter of Safe BR. As business leaders, we've said it a couple of times already, we understand that violent crime is a challenge we all face. It's not just faced by law enforcement, governmental officials. We all have to get involved and do what we can to make a difference. BRAC will have some top priorities within the Safe BR initiative: fighting to curb chronic truancy, partnering with the law enforcement agencies on critical challenges as they arise, advocating for policy and legislative priorities related to curbing violence, supporting neighborhood resources, which we talked about a minute ago, and fundraising to support the initiatives of Safe BR. Long and short-term success both is going to depend on individual and businesses creating partnerships to move this forward and create a safer environment for all of us and our community members. We're urging businesses, please get involved. This is a great crowd in this room. We need to get out there and tell others about it and help recruit our entire business community to get involved in this initiative. Thank you.
And now representing our nonprofit community, the chairman of the board of the Baton Rouge Area Foundation, Jeff Kuntz.
Thank you, Clay. Good morning. The Baton Rouge Area Foundation believes that Baton Rouge can be one of the most prosperous communities in the country. In order to get there, to kind of give the reframe that we've all set up here, it's going to require unification. It's going to require a coordinated effort amongst all parts of our community. To become that prosperous community, safety, public safety is one of the primary things that we need to have. And again, it's not just government. It's going to require the business community and the nonprofit community. It requires everybody in this room to get there. Once a year, we conduct a survey around our community, and this year in our survey, the number one issue that the folks in Baton Rouge believe that faces our community is violent crime. As importantly, maybe more importantly, the same survey says that in order to address violent crime, it cannot be done just by the government. It requires everybody. It requires the business community and it requires the nonprofit community to get involved. They cannot do it alone. We need to do our part. So I get the pleasure here of saying how everybody can get involved. Our goal here is to tap into existing public funds of $50 million, but then also over the next 3 years, our goal is to raise $15 million for this initiative from our community. And it'll support the initiatives, the specific initiatives outlined by the experts. BRAF, the Baton Rouge Area Foundation, has established the Community Safety Impact Fund. And the purpose of this fund is to receive the funds necessary to do exactly what we're talking about here. So for those that feel like I can't do anything to help and those just throwing stones, no, you can do something to help. Go to safebr.org, sign up for the initiative, lend your name, your personal name, your company's name, and donate. If you do safebr.org/support, or on the main page, it'll get you there. It'll give you a link where you can make a donation and actually make an impact. But it's not just money, it requires our voice and inviting everyone else to be a part of this initiative. We need everybody involved in all aspects, so let's do this together and make Baton Rouge safe. Thank you.
I'd like to invite up members of our Metropolitan Council who are in attendance with us today, and Councilwoman Jen Rocca on behalf of Mayor Pro Tem Cole is going to say a few words. Come on up, Councilwoman Coleman.
Good morning, everyone. As council members stand here before you, we're an extraordinary group of council members. This is the crime committee that we created to play an active role and do our part in creating solutions and collaborating with you and the public and finding answers to our crime problems that we have here in Baton Rouge. We have Councilman Goday. Would you like to introduce yourself? Councilman Hurst. You want to say?
Councilwoman Adams. Councilwoman Adams.
I know you want to say.
You know it. Councilwoman Carolyn R. Coleman, District 10. Yes, where we have, and of course we invite.
And I always have to follow that. Councilman Aaron Moat, District 4. Thank you.
So what we want to say today is thank you. Thank you so much for the public and private collaboration Thank you so much for giving us a seat at the table and for allowing us to work with you to find solutions for our community and for making this a safe Baton Rouge.
Today you have heard a lot about the what, and you have met some of the who's. So now I would like to introduce you to the why. Last year we saw the killing of many innocent people here in our community. Among them was Devin Page Jr. and Allie Rice. Devin was a 3-year-old who was innocently lying in his bed when he was struck by a bullet. He was a toddler who barely had begun to know what life even was. His life was and is a tragedy. Allie Rice was a beautiful young woman on the brink of starting her adult life. She was a student at LSU. She too was minding her own business when her life was inexcusably taken. In collaboration with the Law Enforcement and Criminal Justice Foundation, BRAC, and Safe BR, we started the Page Rice Camera Initiative. This initiative has allowed for the placement of crime cameras in areas of our city that are in most need of assistance. In the coming days, we're going to be calling you all together again to give you an update on this initiative and announce new partners in this effort. To be clear, what you are hearing here today is not the announcement of a new work. We've actually been in the trenches on some of this for several months now. What makes this different than most other press conferences of this kind that you have ever heard is there is real protein to the work, brick and mortar, and over time you'll get a chance to hear about that. I would like to invite to the podium right now the family of Allie Rice. I believe her mother is here, and I'm going to invite up Kathy Tolliver, Devin's grandmother, who is going to say a few words. Come on up. Please give them a round of applause as they come to the podium.
Good morning. Giving honor to God, whom I love dearly, who I will never, ever, ever disown because he's been awesome to me, to the wonderful mayor who has been just wonderful with us, and of course my brother right here, Clay Young, who has stood with us. My sister girl, she says she didn't want to say anything, but this is Miss Allie Rice's mother. Can we clap our hands for her? Let me say this to you. I've worked on a job. I went on this particular job and I saw that there were things that needed to be done. And when I went in there, I began to make the changes that needed to take place. And when I finished, how about the people became angry because I made those changes? And I stepped back and I couldn't understand why in the world would you not accept the changes that needed to be made? And then I realized that there are people that just don't want change. Am I right about it? There are some people that just don't want change. And what do when you come across people that don't want change? You begin to change the way they think. We have to change the way people are thinking. There are some people who were born in this world with wrong thinking at birth. What do you mean? Mama told them wrong. Daddy told them wrong. And so they began to think that all of the things that they were taught were right. We have to go in and we have to change the way people are thinking. Let me tell you something. Your thoughts go before you. Your thoughts go before where you end up. Your hands and your feet end up going to the place where you were thinking. You do not get up and go blow up, shoot up, tear down things overnight. It begins with a thought. Before something has happened, a person has already meditated on it. They've already thought about it, whether good or bad. There are 70,000 thoughts that goes through your mind in a day. And if that is true, how do you slow it down? What are you doing? People take medication to help with their thoughts. There may be some people in here that's dealing with stress issues, and you need that help. You need that release. I thank God for Clay Young and the Paul Rice Initiative. We need those cameras. The cameras are the super eyes that will see things that we will not see. But what do we do once the criminals are caught? Situations that are not learned from, they're always repeated over and over and over. And I end with this. I'm on the street. When they blew my grandbaby's brains out, I was getting ready to move out of Baton Rouge. Because like someone in here said about their 17-year-old son, I was like, I'm done. But then this happened to my grandson, and I said, hold up, because I've been an activist for over 30 years fighting for the rights of young people. And then y'all gonna disrespect me and kill my grandbaby? No, I'm not going anywhere. And so then God began to deal with my heart. Let me say this to you. Crime is a state of mind. I don't care what it is. I tell people all the time, people are people. Employees are people. Everybody in here, you have thoughts. You know how you want to do things, how you want to move forward. But my heart right now, if I could talk to the person that murdered my grandbaby, I would want to know what was on your mind, and let's have a conversation. I don't want to see people just thrown away, because we are all sinners saved by grace. Y'all looking at me strange here. But I just want to pump you up and let you know that I love people. I was on the street this Saturday. There were 70 people out there pushing with me. I'm going to cover this city. Why? Because I want to see the change. Everybody has a component. I have a space, and I'm working in my space. And by December, I'm expecting to see the hand of God move in this city like never before. We can't do it alone. We need a greater power, whether you believe it or not. We need a superpower, and that power is God. I'm on fire, but on fire for the right thing. I don't want to see, we have family members that are incarcerated. There are people, that's your family, that's a part of you. What can we do? Let's get in their heads. Let's talk to them, and let's bring change to them. Am I by myself? Am I talking foreign to anybody? We can make a difference, and it's going to take all of us. Let's get in the head. I started Help 5 Stay Alive. I'm asking you today to call 5 people, whether once a week, every 2 weeks, and check on their mental state. You can talk people off the ledge. I'm out there on the street talking people off the ledge. I remember the time when I was on the ledge when somebody had to talk me off. Everybody in here needs a helping hand. Thank you, Clay.
And again, in the coming weeks, we'll have an update on the Paige Rice Initiative. Thank you all for being here with us this morning. The only thing smaller than a problem is a criticism. The only thing larger than a problem is a solution. Here's 2 solutions. We won't be taking questions from the podium. However, all speakers will be available on the floor for media here. Remember, you can log on to safebr.org to learn about all the partners and some of the initiatives connected to this. For all of the speakers and coalition partners, could I get you all to come to the stage for a group picture? George, Cito, members of the organizations, come on up, and they want me to ask y'all to stand up here for a group picture. Thank you.